We'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Commissioner Fund and myself are here. And at this time, Colonel Averill, would you like to lead us in the flag salute? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move that we approve the minutes of December 12th, 2016.
Second. A motion has been made and second to approve the December 12th, 2016 minutes. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Public comment. No public comment? Okay. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. I move that we approve the notice agenda, items 1 and 2, resolution number 16-340 and 341.
Second.
Good morning, Larry Enselman, Public Works, speaking to item number 1, resolution 16-340. This is regarding the franchise to the Toledo Telephone Company, and RCW 12.20 and, Lewis County Code 12.20 and RCW 36.55 require that all utilities in county right-of-ways be authorized by franchise through the board. Toledo Telephone has had a franchise with the county in the past that is expiring, and they've applied for a franchise to construct, operate, and maintain their telecommunication facilities within the county road rights-of-way. This resolution would set January 9th, 2017 at 10 a.m. as a time for the hearing on this matter, and it would instruct the clerk of the board to make the required notices and legal publications.
Okay. Thank you. Larry, this is just simply a renewal, correct? Is that
It is.
Okay.
It is, and it's proposed for 5 years as a renewal.
Okay, perfect.
And that's the normal time we've been doing these, is 5 years at this point. Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioner. Suzette Smith, Auditor's Office, Financial Services Division, Chief Accountant, here to present to you notice item number 2. This is also resolution number 13-341. Twice a year we come to the board asking them to dispense with advertising and formal sealed bidding with respect to purchases and leases under $25,000 and notice of Lewis County vendor list and solicitation. This is according to RCW 39.04.190. And we do this twice a year, once in July and once in December, which is effective for January 2017. This will be published on December 21st in the East County Journal. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a motion has been made and second to approve two resolutions or 2 notice items, and it's been seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed.
I move that we approve the consent agenda, and this is our last meeting of the year, so you will note we have 19 resolutions. So items 3 through 21, resolution number 16-342 to 360.
Second.
Good morning, Commissioners. Once again, Suzette Smith, Chief Accountant, Auditor's Office, Financial Services Division, and I'm just going to camp out here. So I have consent items number 3 through 6. We'll start with number 3, which is resolution number 16-342. This is our weekly approval of payments against the various county departments. Last week, we issued 251 regular warrants, number 760-328 through 760-578, for $1,092,122.44. In addition, the special purpose districts issued warrants number 760 760-328 through 760-405. Those are approved by their own commission and are noted as a skip in sequence. Any questions on that one? Thank you. Agenda item number 4 is resolution number 16-343. This is a request for a cancellation of a warrant. We had one warrant, number 754128, that was reported as lost by the vendor. We did reissue the warrant, and the missing warrant was subsequently returned as undeliverable by the U.S. Postal System. Questions on that one? Moving right along, agenda item number 5 is resolution number 16-344. This is establishing procedures for the procurement of goods and services. The Government Finance Officer's Best Practices recommends that governmental entities adopt and follow procurement procedures. This will allow fair and equitable distribution of purchases and services against all vendors or businesses that wish to do business with Lewis County and which the governments. 2 CFR 200.3188, which is the Code of Federal Regulations, in the Uniform Grant Guidance states that all non-federal entities, which Lewis County is a non-federal entity, must use its own documented procurement procedures which reflect applicable state, local, and tribal laws and regulations, providing the procurement conform with the applicable federal law and standards identified in 2 CFR 200, and 2 CFR 319C says that we must have written procedures for all procurement transactions. So the procurement procedures in draft form were sent to the elected officials and directors on November 22nd, requesting their comment. We received a few comments and did include those in the procurement procedures. The procurement procedure is attached to this resolution, and once the Board of County Commissioners has authorized it, it will be effective January 1st, 2017 for the departments under the Board of County Commissioners. In addition, we will be going to each one of the elected officials and asking them to please sign off as their indication that they will be following the procurement procedures as well. If they choose to not follow this particular document and their department receives federal funding, they will be required under the grant guidance, uniform grant guidance and federal regulations to provide to us procurement procedures that do follow those guidelines before they receive any federal funding in the 2017 year. There are not any departments that I know of at this time that I can remember at this time that do not receive some form of federal funding. So we anticipate that the elected officials will be signing off on this document, and we did not have any indication from any of them that they would not be signing off. Are there any questions regarding these procedures?
Just a comment, when you talked about the other elected officials, we may sign something, but the other electeds, it's up to them to do that. We cannot rule over them in terms of this. They have to make their own decision.
That is correct. We also have a cash handling policy where the same process was used. The Board of County Commissioners approved the cash handling policy that was developed by the treasurer and the auditor several years ago, and then each one of the elected officials signed off on that cash handling policy.
So there's a procurement policy, so you're allowed some flexibility if you have your own, or?
There's very little flexibility there are procurement procedures. The federal government has guidelines on how you can spend their money and how you can contract with providers of goods and services, what is allowable. Quite often it is also by each particular grant. The grant will have a different procurement procedure as a grant next to it or issued by another federal agency. We also have procurement procedures that are overall by the state and by generally accepted accounting procedures. Basically, government has to bid everything out. Sometimes it's a sealed formal bid, sometimes it is just an informal telephonic quote, and sometimes for minor goods and services or minor goods, it could just be picking up the telephone, calling those vendors, and then annotating who you called and what their response was. We'll also note that there are some services that are not governed by procurement procedures. They are exempt. What's nice about these procedures is there are beautiful flow charts at the end that will help most people go through when deciding whether they need to submit a bid or a formal quote or just an informal pick up the phone and call people. Also to note, We did take the procurement procedures from our neighboring county, Thurston County. We work very well with them. We went through them and decided that they were good for us as well. We tweaked them to remove what did not fit our county. We added in a few things that do fit our county better, compared it with GFOA's best practices and the federal procurement laws, and that's how we actually developed these procedures.
Thank you for being so thorough.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions on that one? And I do need to give our staff kudos on this because they did put it together for us once we received that information from Thurston County. The next is agenda item number 6. This is resolution number 16-345. It is requesting your authorization for the cancellation of outstanding accounts receivable for the Southwest Washington Fair, Fund Number 106.
Yeah,
Is that me? Sorry.
Too much jewelry.
a little bit closer.
No, I don't want to speak closer. That makes it hum. We have accounts receivable dating back from calendar years 2007 to 2014 that are due from various individuals and vendors to the Southwest Washington Fair Fund Number 106. These amount to $6,488.27. Between the fair personnel, the fiscal office, the treasurer's office, and our office, we have made repeated attempts to try to reconcile these account receivables and collect from these vendors. Unfortunately, we are unable to do so. Some of the original documentation may have been lost or destroyed in the 2007 flood event that hit our fairgrounds pretty heavily. The amount of time that we're spending trying to locate these outstanding documents is more than what we are actually requesting to have written off. Trust me, we've spent years working on this. So we're asking for the board to please authorize the removal of the account receivable balance of $6,488.27 from the Southwest Washington Fair Fund Number 106 and to remove those from our financial statements. Any questions on that one? Hey, you get to get rid of me?
Thank you, Suzette.
Thank you, Suzette.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Martin, Public Works Director and County Engineer, speaking to agenda item number 7, resolution number 16-346, initiating county road projects and assigning county road project numbers. Pursuant to RCW 3675-050, the Board of County Commissioners shall, by resolution not otherwise, order the alteration improvement of county roads and bridges. And it's up to the county road engineer to implement those. Signing off on the attached resolution will officially assign CRP numbers to our 3R program and our safety and guardrail projects. 3R is resurfacing, restoration, and rehabilitation. So those two projects will be assigned the numbers 2177 for 3R and 2178 for miscellaneous safety and guardrail. Any questions?
I understand this format is required by the CRAB board.
It's strongly suggested that we use this by the CRAB board, yes. So that's why this resolution looks a little bit different than some of our other ones that we usually put in. Also speaking to agenda item number, did you have any other questions? I'm sorry. Also speaking to agenda item number 8, resolution 16-347, approving an interlocal agreement between Lewis County and the City of Chehalis regarding work by city crews and authorizing signatures thereon. We have requested the City of Chehalis complete some yearly catch basin cleaning. They have a piece of equipment that we don't have. It's a Vector truck. And so they will allow us to utilize that and an operator from the city for $125 an hour. We do that about once a year. We have certainly not as many catch basins as the city does, but we do need to clean them out. So this will be authorizing that work. And it's a master and a local agreement that's good for 5 years. Any questions? Moving on, agenda item number 9, resolution 16-348, approve purchase of one used asphalt roller for the Public Works Department. Lewis County Public Works has determined that an asphalt roller is needed in their fleet. And this unit was scheduled, budgeted, and approved for replacement in 2016. Actually, it's an addition, but it's a used piece of equipment that we budgeted to buy used. And so we'd be purchasing this from Pepe Machinery for $62,814, which is probably about a third of the price of a new one. Any questions on that?
This is coming out of a fund that is meant for this particular purpose.
Yes, it's out of the ER&R Equipment Rental and Revolving Fund.
So 3 times as much if you were to purchase a new one then?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's a little bit of an estimation, but yeah. This one is 2009, and it's got we're figuring about 3,000 hours on it, which is not too bad. And as much as we use it, that's probably will last us a long, long time. Thank you.
Eric.
Thank you.
Larry Unselman, once again, speaking to item number 10, Resolution -16-349. The county's had a need for a stockpile disposal site in the northwest portion of the county to be used in its road maintenance operations. And we've been looking for a suitable site for a number of years. A property on Lincoln Creek Road was recently offered for sale, and it will meet the needs of the county for this purpose. It's located on Lincoln Creek Road, right near the intersection with Ingalls Road that ties over to the Bunker Creek area, and close to Manners Road, which ties over to the Garrett Creek and Independence areas. So it's a good location for us. The property owner, Ronald Werkela, has signed an agreement for the proposed sale of the property to the county for $215,000. And this resolution would approve the agreement for the property purchase at 2126 Lincoln Creek Road from Ronald Werkela for $215,000, and would authorize the Public Works Director to sign the agreement and other documents related to the proposed purchase.
So what kind of items will be stored there?
It could be used either probably both for disposal and stockpiling. So ditch cleanings, for one thing, could be stored on that site. If there was proposed projects up there, could be stockpiles of rock, potentially winter sand. We see it as, kind of a multi-use facility.
So with this purchase then, I'm just looking at the map, and it looks like there's obviously a house on it. So what's your plans for that?
The plan is to this is a 41.5 acre parcel, and we don't believe at this time that we're going to need that entire parcel. So our plan is to first of all, figure out which parts of the property are going to work the best for our needs, and then surplus the rest of it and sell it once we've done that, and hopefully recapture a good share of our money back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Steve Skinner with Lewis County Solid Waste. I'm speaking for item number 11, resolution number 16-350. This resolution is to approve and adopt a road agreement between Lewis County Solid Waste Facility, the Winlock Boy Scout Group number 324 for litter pickup on Neville Road between the Winlock city limits and North Military Road. Lewis County has an Adopt a Road litter control program. It follows RCW Chapter 47.40, which is managed by the utility and the Division of Public Works. It's an effort to reduce roadside litter, and the Boy Scout troop in Winlock has stepped forward wanting to adopt that road. It'll work out really well for all the county citizens that live out there. The Public Works Director has approved this, so this is a consent item for the board. Any other questions?
Well, we certainly appreciate
Yes.
Boy Scout Troop 324 stepping up to do this.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Good morning. For the record, this is Diane Dory, Lewis County Assessor, speaking to item number 12, resolution number 16-351. The last time that we reviewed the open space and forest land fees was in 2009, and we changed them at that point and set them at $200 for open space and $150 for forest land and open space farm and the other portions of the current use programs, with $50 for each additional parcel. In November of this year, Department of Revenue, at my request, did a survey again of other assessors' offices in the state, and approximately 2/3 of them responded, showing that we were way behind on what the fees should be. I did a study on what the actual costs are, and by setting the new fees at $350 for all types of programs for each parcel, we're right in the middle of where everyone else is in the state. These fees are supposed to cover the cost of the application, and we all know that labor costs to do all of these functions have gone up, and so even at the $350, we're not completely covering our costs yet. So in the near future, we may have to review again and reset these fees. Any questions?
Thank you for bringing that information in, though. It was a good discussion. It's somewhat eye-opening. The county always tries to keep costs down, but at some point we need to at least try to recoup some of our costs. So,
Right.
Thank
And
you
the
for your
RCW 8433 and 34 say that we are supposed to recover the cost of the application.
thank
And can
you
you
for doing
tell folks just a little kernel of how this helps with designated forest land? What happens to that person who applies for that or open space?
Well, we have two programs. Under RCW 8433 is designated forest land, and 8434 grants an exemption to folks that qualify for those programs. You have to be commercially farming or commercially growing timber, and the plan is that you have to harvest those trees and replant and continue it on. And as long as that happens, those folks get about a 90% reduction in their land value off the market value. So everyone else in that area pays a little more to allow these folks to be able to continue farming and to continue growing timber. And so that helps keep our county in agriculture and our county green. So those are important things for the health of our community. Thank you.
very much.
Hello, Commissioners. Randy Mueller, CEO of the Port of Chehalis, 321 Morin Road, speaking to items 13 and 14 on your calendar. These are two grant resolutions from the .09 Grant Committee that were forwarded to you for the benefit of the public, and maybe as a reminder, .09 grant funds are generally allocated for job-creating projects around the community. These are state sales tax dollars that are sent back to the county to be redirected for these kinds of projects. The Port of Chehalis brought two projects to the .09 committee. Both were unanimously recommended for approval to you, and so they're in front of you today. The first one is a grant agreement for $1 million for the Dawson Road commercial site. This Dawson Road commercial site is best known, if you think of where the port office is, it's the empty field immediately to the north of our building, kind of it's an unofficial dog park right now. You'll see folks there with their dogs all the time. This site is, we're working on this site with a codename project called Project Desert in cooperation with the Lewis EDC under Matt Matayoshi's leadership. Been trying to recruit this company to the area. It's a biotech company, 200 jobs to start, 300 within 5 years, average salary in around the $50,000 range. Very promising employer, STEM type employer that we've been searching for. So this company's been searching. They started out with about 50 communities. Now we're down to the final 3. So we're really making our push to make Lewis County be the home for this company, make it through their site selection process. It's split up in 2 phases. The $1 million, there's $200,000 that would be available immediately to start work, and literally immediately we've got folks lined up to get going this week. And then once we get a signed contract, either a land lease or sale contract with this employer, the other $800,000 would be made available to continue the site improvements and make those available for them. So that's the Dawson Road commercial site application for $1 million. It is worth noting that if you remember the .09 fund, our communities traditionally kept $1 million in reserve for what we call projects that are just a really big deal, something that could really be a game changer for our community. And the .09 committee unanimously felt that this was in fact one of those projects, and we really need to throw everything we have at it to try to get it to site in Lewis County and in Washington State. So that's why it's that $1 million threshold there. The second project is a regional stormwater facility in the Port of Chehalis. That's $250,000, and that would be $250,000 of .09 grant money on top of Port of Chehalis funds, and then Lewis County Flood Control District number 1 funds as well. If you're familiar with our property and you know where Crestline Plastic Pipe is and you know where Hardell is, the area in between, that big field with the power lines over it, that's the place we're talking about. Because it does have those big BPA power lines, there's an easement, and so you can't necessarily build a building under that property or under those power lines. So one of the things we found that would be a good use, or kind of the best possible use for that land that we can't build on, is a regional stormwater pond that serves the surrounding areas. So you might have read about the proposed Wilson Oil facility. That's one facility that would be served by the stormwater pond. There's about 3 other locations that would also send stormwater to it. So that's that regional stormwater pond. It's not sexy or glamorous, but you do need somewhere to put these stormwater ponds, and under the power line seems like a really good place for it. So those are the 2 resolutions. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I just want to compliment the team that's been working on this. I know you and Matt Matioshi and other community members and folks looking at even WF West and their STEM program. I mean, it's been a big effort, and just cross our fingers that new year we're number 1.
Thank you. It has been all hands on deck. Most of the credit goes to Matt Matioshi. When the company representatives came, he did arrange quite the whirlwind tour of the community, from housing to, like you mentioned, the high school as well as the college and workforce training. Obviously, the port site to physically look at the property and really trying to familiarize someone from out of state with our community in just one fell swoop. So, a lot of the credit goes to Matt and his team at the EDC.
Thank you, Randy. Much appreciated. And I would echo that. And as we look at Lewis County, our economics of Lewis County, and these are the things, these type of, we call them game changers. We're going to bring companies in here that are going to be, we're going to gain more taxes on it. I know that Diana and I have talked specifically about more housing. So there's a lot of things that really this is going to be a real positive, and hopefully we keep our fingers crossed. And Matt, would you like to have a few comments on this too? I know that you've been working exceptionally hard on this. And
Matt Matioshi with the Economic Development Council. I'll just say that both of these projects meet the RCW, meet the intent of the RCW that puts the .09 in place. I'll say with the Dawson Road, the stormwater project, that's an excellent project. Most of the time when companies are looking, if you don't have the infrastructure in place, stormwater, water, sewer in place, then they're off to the next community. And so the port's leadership in looking forward and putting this in place and leveraging those dollars to then create investment is a fantastic deal for the community. On the second project, we're in the running. There's like Randy said, there's 3 communities that are vying for this project across the U.S. and the intent of this is to position ourselves to be competitive for this project and put together an incentive package to recruit these 200 jobs and then 300 jobs at full build out. If it's kind of that old saying, if in economic development, if you build it, they will come. May not be true, but if you don't, they won't. So we've got to be ready for it, and this gives the port the certainty to put that incentive package together, and if they don't locate here, then those funds are not released, or the full amount anyway. So it's a great project, and I can't say enough positive about the community's efforts to come together and compete for this. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for all your hard work, everyone.
And I just wanted to restate what Matt said, that at the state legislature, they've been looking at distressed county funds, 09 funds, and whether they're being used appropriately. And this is a nice project to show that, yes, in Lewis County, we're using those funds for economic development.
Morning, Commissioner. Steve Walton, Central Services Director, speaking to item number 15 on the consent agenda, resolution number 16-354, approving an agreement for the operation and maintenance of the Lewis County Historical Museum. The Lewis County Historical Museum occupies the Burlington Northern Depot at 599 Front Way in Chehalis. This building is leased by the county from the railroad for this purpose. The museum is operated by the Lewis County Historical Society, who also serves as caretaker of the artifacts, exhibits, and archives housed there. This agreement outlines the various responsibilities of each party for the continued operation of the historical museum. The agreement is renewed for a 2-year period with the option at the end of that time to extend for additional 3. Any questions?
Well, just a comment. Last week was the last day that Margaret Shields, who'd been working at the Lewis County Historical Museum as a volunteer, I think she's 93, and she's been there almost 40 years. So I just want to remark that she was one of those people that if you had a question about history in Lewis County, she was the one to go to. So right now, we wish that we could just transfer all that information she had in her brain to a hard drive somewhere, but we can't do that. But anyway, just want to acknowledge all of her efforts all these years.
Good morning, Danette York, Director of Public Health and Social Services, and I'm speaking to items 16 and 17. 16 is resolution number 16-355. This is a contract amendment number 1 between Lewis County and the Washington State Health Care Authority. This contract amendment will allow our contract to run from January 2017 through December 31st of 2018, so a 2-year contract. And this is for the Medicaid Administrative Claiming Program. So in short, what this is it allows the Public Health and Social Services staff that works with Medicaid eligible clients, whether they're on Medicaid or just eligible for Medicaid, to receive at least a 50% reimbursement for the time that they work with those clients. We participate in what's called a random moment time survey. Literally, they get an email saying, what were you doing at this particular time? And if what they were doing, the activities, is reimbursable, it will be billed at the following month, and we will receive 50% reimbursement for regular employments and 75% reimbursement for those that have to carry a license like an RN. Questions?
It's not like you're not doing the work anyway. So
we would be doing this work
Correct.
anyway, so this program is a federal program that was established to help get some reimbursement for that work.
Yeah.
And it's nice that we're approving it before the contract begins, right?
It is.
It is.
That's doesn't happen very often in my world.
Yeah.
Number 17 is resolution number 16-356, and this resolution is to approve an interlocal agreement between Lewis County and the Tacoma-Pierce County Health Department. In Washington State, we're required that all food workers obtain approved food safety training by either a local health officer or their designee every 2 to 3 years. And they get what's called a food worker card that they can then use to show proof of that training. Tacoma-Pierce County Health Department established an online program so that people can go online through the internet and take this course and receive their card. Either they can print it at home, library, or they can take it at home and then come into our office and we can print it for them. So if that occurs, if people take it using their program, we get reimbursed, or we get paid $7. It's a $10 fee. We get paid $7, and Tacoma Pierce gets paid $3. So there's no funding actually exchanged between us and Tacoma Pierce. It's only for those who pay for their food worker cards. Part comes to us, part goes to them. It greatly reduces the number of in-person, face-to-face classes that we have to hold.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Delane Coleman, Human Resources, speaking to consent item 18, resolution number 16-357, a resolution to approve a collective bargaining agreement between Lewis County and the Teamsters Union representing the Sheriff's Office Corrections Sergeants for a 2-year contract for 2016 and 17. For the duration of this contract, the employer health and welfare percentages were left unchanged. So the employer contribution for 2016 and the 2017 will be the same as, for the same amount, $1463.57. There is a 2.5% increase on base wage over the year 2015, which will be retroactive to 1/1 of this year. And a 2.5% increase on base wage over the for the year 2016. Additional highlights: temporary modified duty procedures were modified. Those that possess a degree, an associate's, bachelor's, or master's had an increase onto their base salary. Employees who are assigned a firearms supervisor instructor or FTO supervisor will receive an $80, which is an increase from the last contract. Specialty incentive pay in addition to the regular salary. Same for the Corrections Bureau admin sergeant, who will receive $150 at specialty incentive pay each month in addition to their salary. At no time will an employee receive more than one specialty incentive pay at one time. There will be a one-time bonus pay to Correction Bureau admin sergeant of $2,500 and a one-time bonus pay to the program sergeant of $600. Basic housekeeping, grammar, seniority and such were not, they were included, but we're not going to list all those out. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning again, Commissioner. Steve Walton, Central Services Director, speaking to item number 19 on the consent agenda, resolution number 16-358. It's approval of a contract award with Motorola Solutions Incorporated for Communications E911 equipment purchase and authorization for the Central Services Director to execute the contract. We have, E911 has received a contract with the Washington State Military Department for capital equipment associated with the operation of the enhanced 911 phone system. The county also has an intergovernmental purchasing agreement through Grays Harbor County via resolution number 16-016. So with the contract that Grays Harbor has with Motorola Solutions, we can piggyback on that contract. That enables us to get the best deal, and this grant or contract with the state is reimbursable, so that's a good thing. And it's about $253,000 worth of equipment. Any questions?
Thank you.
Good morning, Lee Napier, Director of Community Development, speaking on agenda item number 20, resolution 16359. This is approval of a supplemental agreement to a personal services contract, and the contract is between West and Lewis County that we are executing on behalf of the Flood Authority. And the purpose of this 10th supplemental is to increase the budget dollars. We typically have an ongoing maintenance program for the early warning system annually. We have a contract between West and Lewis County. There was some damage to some gauges that was not anticipated in the prior agreement, and so we're increasing the budget to pay for the cost associated with that. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
last resolution is to elect Gary Stamper as the chair and Edna J. Fund as the vice chair for 2017 of the Board of County Commissioners.
That's pretty boring.
It's pretty boring. We usually rotate that, and there's those. It's not really an election. It's like your turn.
Yes.
Yes, your turn to do this.
Okay. A motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution number 16-342 through resolution number 16-360. That's a total of 19, I believe. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Oops. Oh, who can read it? We'll read it before.
Thank you, Eric Martin, Public Works Director, County Engineer. Apologize, maybe I should have done this during the public comment. It's kind of an oddball. It does not require board action, but I do need to read it into the record, and I'll explain here as I go through it. What this is we need to acquire a very small sliver of the Willapa Hills Trail that's where it crosses Shorey Road for our countywide safety program Phase 2. And the purpose there is to put a little piece of guardrail that kind of wraps around by the trail there. So the problem with that is when you need to acquire right-of-way for a park or a wetland refuge or those types of properties, which are classified as 4F, you have to go through a process to show that it's a de minimis acquisition. That is, that it has no significant impact on that facility, the park or trail in this case. So I need to read the project description into the record, and then that doesn't require any further board action, as I mentioned. So the project description says, Lewis County Public Works will be installing guardrail along Shorey Road near milepost 0.82, which is adjacent to the Willapa Hills Trail, also known as the Old Northern Pacific Railroad, within a publicly owned recreational area. Shorey Road has been determined to need safety improvements to meet current roadway safety standards. As it is not practical to move the road in order to improve roadway safety improvements, will take place within this 4F resource. Proposed safety improvements will require the county to obtain a 0.03 acre permanent easement, or 20 foot by 65 foot, for the installment of new guardrail terminal heads. Additionally, a temporary easement of 0.04 acres, or 15 feet beyond the right-of-way along the southern roadside, in order to install silt fence for erosion control. This will require purchasing 0.03 acres of land from Washington State Parks. Neither the proposed guardrail installation nor the temporary silt fence installation would adversely affect the use of the recreational trail or the current function or access of the publicly owned recreational land. The proposed impact is, therefore, considered de minimis as defined in 23 CFR 774.17, as it will not adversely affect the activities, features, or attributes that qualify the resource for protection under 4F. No adverse social, economic, and environmental impacts are to occur to the 4F resource as part of this proposed project. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no action required on
No.
that then. Okay.
I'd like to just add a piece of information I learned this weekend when you talked about parks. Washington State Parks and PL have been working on that RV or that park that's within the city of PL. And Bob Gunther and a number of folks have worked hard to see if we could have a lease for the city of PL to operate that park. And they've obtained it, and they're going to put RV pads there, so that community is going to be able to obtain lodging tax dollars as a result. So I want to shout out to Bob Gunther for helping us out with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Much appreciated. It's amazing. We met
It was before the trail ride.
before the trail ride, and the town of PL is more than willing to support that park, but it's there's layers. You have to get permission, and it's quite extensive. So appreciate the town of PL and also all the work from all the individuals who's make that happen. It's a much better system, and it's really better for the state park system too, because basically they would love to maintain that area and do some things, and this kind of opens the door for that to happen. So very much appreciated. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to have the public hearing. This is resolution number 16-361, hearing for the fourth budget amendment for current expenses and other funds. We'll first have a statement, a staff report, followed by question and answer period. We will then close the question and answer period and open the hearing for formal testimony. You will have 3 minutes for testimony or for public comment. And if you need to sign up, feel free to come up. The sign-up sheet is at the podium, so at any time. And at this time, I would like to have the staff report.
Morning, Commissioners. Steve Walton, Central Services Director, and with me this morning is Becky Butler, the Budget Manager. Copies of the detailed budget amendment are available at the front of the room, and there's also a sign-up sheet for public comment. This hearing pertains to the recommendation to amend the 2016 budget as indicated in Resolution number 16-361. Notice of this public hearing was published in the East County Journal on December the 7th and the 14th. The notice that was published in the East County Journal reflected an increase in expenditures of $975,921 and offsetting revenue in the amount of $1,016,900, resulting in a $40,979 increase in fund balance. Then, as usually is the case, after we publish the notice, we do have changes in other areas of the budget, and that expenditures in the amount of $520,635 and an increase in revenue in the amount of $481,800. So with the new changes incorporated, the total budget amendment reflects an increase in expenditures of $1,496,556, an increase in revenue in the amount of $1,498,700, and an increase in overall fund balance in the amount of $2,144. The general fund portion of this amendment is an expenditure increase of $506,266 and an increase in revenue in the amount of $481,000, resulting in a use of fund balance in the amount of $25,266. Some of the more significant items in this budget amendment include, under the BOCC, an increase of $23,500 for extra help, excess compensation. That's a PERS 1 retiree individual, and that went to the Department of Retirement Systems, and professional services related to the Spotted Owl attorney fees. Auditor elections, increase of $25,500 for costs associated with the presidential election. In District Court, $57,365 increase for annual leave payout and a $42,000 increase for IT costs that were moved from the Indigent Defense Fund into the District Court Fund. And then you would have a corresponding $42,000 reduction from the Indigent Defense Fund to the District Court Fund.
Say that again.
So it was kind of a move of funds from one fund to another. District Court inherited a $42,000 increase in expenditures, and Indigent Defense costs were reduced by $42,000. Okay.
That's only for district court, not Superior Court. I mean,
Did I say Superior Court?
No, I'm just clarifying.
Oh, yeah, it is
that.
District Court, correct. Under fiscal services, $29,128 increase in salaries and benefits that are associated with succession planning. In the sheriff and jail, an increase of $65,075 for annual leave payouts, tuition reimbursement costs, and a Spillman module. In juvenile, there was a $16,051 increase cost for professional services medical, tuition reimbursement, and annual leave payouts. Then in the area of transfers to other funds, $275,300. This was for the Southwest Washington Fair, facilities, and senior services. Now, keep in mind, these transfers are appropriates monies for those funds, but it's only used as needed. Makes the funds available. In the other funds area, the Southwest Washington Fair saw a $36,800 increase in expenditures for salaries, benefits, supplies, and an increased transfer to cover costs of reduced revenues from last year's fair. The 90-plus degree weather didn't help attendance in some of those on those 3 days, and that hurt some of the revenue. Then in community development, public health, and senior services, there was a total of about $85,500 that were associated with salary benefits and annual leave payouts. In capital maintenance, $325,000 increase for the purchase of the radio system for E911, land purchase for a radio tower site, and related land purchase for the Skate Creek Bank stabilization project. Solid waste saw a $65,900 increase for office upgrades and an increase in the recycle box hauling from transfer station sites. Also in the solid waste disposal district, $388,090 increase for professional services related to the increased tonnage, and that offset is increased by offset. Let me say that again. It is offset by the increased revenue for garbage fees. And then risk management, $15,000 increase for unemployment claims. Lastly, facilities saw a $74,000 increase in expenditures for county building, utilities, and property insurance. So as the year closes out, we hope that this would be the last time to amend the 2016 budget. But in the next 2 weeks, there is the possibility and maybe even the likelihood there will be more bills that will come in that will be paid in 2017, but will be back credited back to the 2016 budget. And we'll do another amendment at that time as needed. Any questions?
And you'll be available afterwards if citizens have any questions about the 2016?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yes.
That was going to be my comment, probably more than anything else. If it's very complex, and we meet with with our staff on a regular basis, and it's mind-boggling sometimes. So I would encourage all of you, if you have any questions, to make sure you stay after or make an appointment to go in and see Steve or Becky to have that explained. It is very complex. So I'd like to thank you guys for all the hard work that you put into it, and it really is. And it's the old trickle down, when people make changes, it affects everyone. So thank the staff and all the work that you guys do. Okay. Any other comments or questions, Commissioner Fund? Okay. This time we're going to open the question and answer period for public to ask questions, and we have a sign-up sheet. Is there anyone that has signed up? Okay, no questions? Anyone? Last chance? Okay. Now we're going to close the question and answer period. And would you like your report to be incorporated into the hearing?
Yes, please.
Okay. And now we're going to open the hearing for public testimony. And are there any names there on the sheet? Or any other people who'd like to testify? Okay. Okay. Now we're going to close the hearing for public testimony, and at this time, we'll move forward.
Okay. I move that we approve the resolution number 16-361.
Second. A motion has been made and second to approve resolution number 16-361. Any other comments, questions? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. There we go.
Seeing no further business on our long agenda, I move that we adjourn.
Okay, motion is made to adjourn. I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you very much.
You are invited to immerse yourself in the beauty of nature in all four corners of Lewis County, Washington. From our fields to your table, farms in the west share their bounty. Limitless landscapes, forests and mountains beg to be explored in the east. Fish our many rivers and lakes in the south, and discover where history and culture intersect in our twin cities. Explore it all by visiting our Facebook page and plan your next getaway at discoverlewiscounty.com. Culture, history, and adventure all come alive when you discover Lewis County.